All right, well, thank you all for being here today, and thank you for whoever's watching on the video being here today as well. I'm excited about today because I think that what's cool about these sessions is that people who come to these and people who watch these are people who are committed to mastery in their lives. But I think that mastery doesn't just start with learning stuff. I mean, it does start there, but really it's going to evolve in your life through action. And so the people who sit and listen to this have already got a head start. The people who then do something with it are the ones who are really going to get results from it. And so I'm really grateful that everyone's here to sharing this today. Now, what I'm going to share today, I call this Dare to Dream, but this is a goal getting workshop. It's a results workshop. So this is not just about sort of dreaming stuff and setting things up and hoping that you're going to get it. This is about sharing what I've developed over the past probably 10 years really to achieve results in my life. And I've been really fortunate in my life to achieve some what was important to me. Some really cool things. I graduated medical school, became a doctor, became New Zealand Extreme Ski Champion, set up MedRecruit. As you guys know, we've been in the Fast 50 for the past 4 years. Young Entrepreneur of the Year last year. I've got my family, and I've been really fortunate in what's sort of come into my life. And what I've done is kind of broken down what have I done over these years, and what have I refined over the years into a system that is means I can replicate those results and get better results in my life. So that's what I'm going to be sharing today. Now I want to start with these couple of quotes which I really like. If you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. Henry Ford. And I think that's something you want to keep in your mind throughout this results workshop, is if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So keep an open mind. This is a great quote from TR. Your current conditions do not reflect your ultimate potential, but rather the size and quality of goals upon which you're currently focusing. And that is directly related to if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The size and quality of your goals will be dependent on what you think is possible, what you believe is possible within yourself. And so I think that, opening up your mind to what is possible. If someone's done it, you can do it. If someone hasn't done it, doesn't even mean you can't do it as well. There's so much that's possible. So there are so many people doing incredible things and leading incredible lives, as there are people in this room, that, I think just keeping an open mind throughout the session and believing what's possible from you is going to be more exciting. I think there are 3 levels of goals, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but I will, because I think there's goals that you can achieve, and they're just kind of the standards, like the goals you can achieve safely, and there's not a lot of excitement in that. Then there's goals that you think you can achieve, so there's a little bit of uncertainty there. There's a wee bit of excitement, but then I think the goals that get us really excited are when you answer the question, what would excite me? What would get me really juiced? What would excite me? And I think that's when you expand what you think is possible of yourself, when you expand your potential, when you expand the size of your goals and go, what would really excite me? That's when you can really tap into your true power. So I'd encourage you today, keep an open mind. Don't limit what you think is possible of yourself, and just explore it a wee bit. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do a quick talk about brains. Because I think it's important that we cover some of the science behind why goal setting is important, and also so you can understand some of the ways that you can make goal setting work more effectively by understanding how your brain works. We'll talk about goal setting. We'll really talk about goal getting. And then I'm going to share my 5 Ds of goal getting. Now these are the 5 things that I think that if you do, you absolutely stack the deck in your favour. Are you guaranteed Are you guaranteed to succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. That's from Dr. Seuss, the places you'll go. 98.75% guaranteed of achieving what you want if you follow this method. We'll talk about how you can apply it daily, and throughout, feel free, if you've got a question, just put your hand up. If you're on the video, that's going to be difficult, but send me an email. So just let me know, because if you're thinking it, probably someone else is too. So first of all, I want to talk about why goals are important, and why as human beings it's important that we actually direct where our focus goes. we've got our subconscious mind and we've got our conscious mind. And the conscious mind is 30,000 times, sorry, the subconscious mind is 30,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. So if you think what you can achieve consciously, multiply it by 30,000 times, and you know, the potential is unbelievable. And what goals do is they send commands deep into our subconscious minds and direct our subconscious minds to move towards it. Now, the thing about the subconscious is that it can't choose what it focuses on. It can't make value judgments. So it will just obey your dominant thoughts. Goals set up a dominant thought that help your subconscious mind to move towards it. If you're not setting up goals, if you're not setting and determining where you send your focus, it's going to go any which way. And generally speaking, it's going to go in the way of, what are you worrying on? What are you worrying about? Worrying is just negative goal setting, because all it's doing is saying, I'm worrying about something that hasn't happened in the future that might happen, but you're thinking about what you don't want to happen. So your subconscious mind is focusing on that. It's not making a value judgment as to whether you want that or you don't want that. It's just saying, well, here's what they're focusing on, so let's make it happen. And I mean, it's so powerful. And I'll share something that happened to me at the weekend actually, which was horrible. I mean, it's all okay, but I had my little girl, Florence, in a wee sling thing, and I was I'd taken her from Claire and I was going to transfer her to the car, and I was holding her really low, but I was just thinking, you've got to do this really carefully, Sam. Don't, whatever you do, bugger this up, because she could fall out. And I know this stuff, but sometimes you forget it, don't you? And I was focusing on, don't let her slip out, and she sort of slipped out, and I sort of caught her, but she grazed her face on the ground. It was just awful. I mean, as a parent, there's nothing you don't want. The last thing you want to do is hurt your child, and she's okay, but it was just an example. It was a reminder to me of, if you focus on the wrong stuff, it's going to happen. It's going to come into your life. If you're worried about, if you want to create abundance in your life, if you focus on debt and you worry about that, sure as heck you're going to have debt in your life. It's so important. So there's a wee exercise that some of you have done with me before, but the others won't have. So I just get everyone to stand up, and if you're watching the video, do the same thing. If you've got people around watching you, then don't worry about it. So if we stand up, and it's going to be sort of tricky, so find a space where you've got a little bit of space, and maybe just put both your arms out. Sorry, this is going to be a bit tricky. And what I want you to do is if you could close your eyes, and now just twist around as far as you can. This is going to be tricky with this many people in a small room. So no, don't move your feet. Okay, so we're going to start again. Okay.
Appropriate.
Half the people sit down and half stand up. Okay, we're going to do half. The other half. We'll keep a couple people up. Karina, you're good. Okay, so those who are standing up, actually, keep your eyes open. Now keep your feet planted, arms out to the side, and twist around to the left as far as you can. Keep your arms open, eyes open, and just look along your finger and say, where's your finger pointing on the wall? All right, come back. That's good. At home, you should have more room to do this. Now why don't you just close your eyes and just focus. And focus on doing that same twisting motion, but see yourself turning and going beyond it. So you're looking down your hand, and you're just visualizing it at the moment. Visualize your hand going past that point in the wall, and then just keeping on turning and keeping twisting and going further and further around. Just see yourself where you were before, see yourself going well beyond that effortlessly. Now open your eyes, put your hands out again. If you're at home, I hope and you're watching this on the computer, I hope you're doing the same thing. Now do the same thing. Twist around to the left and follow your eyes down your fingers, and just keep twisting and see how far you can go. Alright. Who did that exercise and found they went further the second time?
Yeah.
Every single person?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do differently? Did you go away and train? Did you go to the gym and work out and increase your flexibility? And you didn't do anything. All you did is visualize it. All you did is set an intention to your subconscious mind, to your mind, to go a little bit further, and your body was able to respond. This stuff's not new. It's common sense, but the thing is, it's not common practice. So, does everyone understand the importance of goal setting and directing the subconscious mind?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So we talk about brains, and this is just going to be really quick as well. we understand the right brain is the creative, the left side is the logical side of the brain. Now, why is goal setting, why is positive thinking and focusing on what you want important? Well, positive thoughts create serotonin. Serotonin is the happy hormone, you know. It makes you feel well, makes you feel joyful. The other good thing about serotonin is it forms a bridge, and it forms a bridge between the cells in your head, and it also forms a bridge between the left and right hemispheres of your brain. If there's doctors watching, just believe me on this. But it's, yeah, but you know, there's more to it than just that. But ultimately, it just forms these bridges. Now, so your mind works better. Negative thoughts, on the other hand, create cortisol. This is the stress hormone. This creates sadness and depression and despair, and this shuts down the bridge. Your brain doesn't operate as well with, you know, high levels of cortisol. Now, everyone's heard of the law of attraction. Now, the law of attraction is that what you focus on will come into your life. Now, here's a big part of why I think it works, because every cell in our body is being replaced. You know, the body that you have in a year's time is going to be completely different to the body you have now. And you're sending messages, you're sending intentions, you're sending focus as all these cells are replacing. So in effect, positive thoughts that are focused on things that you want will, as your body replaces itself, as the cells replace themselves, you're going to be replacing your entire body to be having a body that's moving in a direction you want it to be going in, as opposed to be pulling you in the opposite direction. And I drew this picture, which I think highlights it very well. This is pre this workshop, and as you see here, you've got someone. They're not happy. They're sad, but they know what they want. And I think this is the thing about this stuff. Most people, if you ask them what they want, some won't know, but most people will know what they want. But that's not the problem. They've got everything is moving them in another direction. Their subconscious mind is worried. It's focusing on other things. They're worrying about what could go wrong. What's going to be the problem? So they're being pulled this way, and being 30,000 times more powerful. This is the direction they're going. But when you use this process, look how happy they are. You know what you want. You focus on the same thing. That arrow is the same. They're still focused that way, but they manage to mobilize the rest of themselves, their subconscious mind, their bodies. As they replace all their cells, they're moving in a different direction. And that may sound really simplistic, but I think to me it's how I understand how the law of attraction works, how over time we can get ourselves moving in a direction we want to go in. You steer towards what you focus on. You steer towards what you focus on. If you're in a car and you lose control in the car, you know, I've done some driving on racetracks. What do you do? What do most people do if they lose control in the car? They look at where they don't want to crash into, and they crash right into the only tree that's right there. You got to look where you want to go. The crazy thing when you're in a skid, and same thing when I was skiing competitively as well, you look where you want to go, and it's amazing if you focus on something, how you don't necessarily know what you're doing. If you're in a skid and your car is out of control, you don't really consciously know what your hand's doing and what your foot's doing on the clutch, and you know, heel toe braking and all this sort of stuff's going on. But if you've got the focus, you've got the intention, that's the direction you generally move in. And it's the same with our lives. So that's why it's so important that we control that focus. You steer towards what you focus on. So I think before we move into this, going into the 5 Ds, it's important to talk about creating powerful goals. And I think that the key is that they're on purpose. And what does that mean? It just means it's on purpose to what's important to you in your life. It's not what other people say you should have in your life. It's not what society says you should have, this house, this car, this job, whatever. It's what's important to you. You know, and how can you give more to other people? How can you learn more? How can you be more? How can you experience more? You know, having a reason for the goal is one of the key important parts of actually, you know, effective goal getting. And that's one of the key steps we're going to cover today. I think, you know, making sure you're on purpose is so important. What's important to you is what's important when it comes to this goal setting. And one lesson that I've learned over this time is that when you set a goal for what you want, don't make what you have wrong. It's important that you can be grateful for what you have, and remember that everything that you've experienced, everything you have, the situation your life is in, is what was meant to be, and it got you to this point in time, and now is right on time. So you're here right now, you're watching this right now. Now is exactly where you need to be. And every experience, everything you've done has shaped you to this point. And so it's being grateful for all that, I think, and being able to then go, and here's what I want now, and move forward from there. So I think that's so, so important. So remember when we do this, it's about what's important to you. It's about setting goals that are meaningful in your life. So the 5 Ds of goal getting. And it's really simple, but I think that it's important that none of these steps get missed out, because when they do, that's when, in my experience and in my life, if I haven't achieved what I want, it's because I haven't done one of these 5 things. Dream is the first thing. It's about what's possible, opening your mind up. 2, making a decision, decide, and I think that's something that so many people don't do. Decide comes from the Latin root to cut off from, to burn your boats, to make a decision. It's so powerful. 3 is put a date around it. 4 is the driving force. This is why it's important for you. And 5 is do. Obviously, you actually have to take some action on this one. So really simple, but we're just going to kick right into it. And throughout this, there's going to be some exercises. So I'm glad everyone's got a paper and pen, because this is not just me standing up here talking. We're going to start the process. Today, you're not going to do the whole process for all the things that are important in your life, but we're going to be able to do it for a few things. And then I'd really encourage people to go away and with the things that are important, to actually continue the process, and I'll specifically direct you exactly what I think is important. So, does anyone have any questions at this point, or should we just crack into this? Excellent. As I said, remembering through this process that if you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So keep an open mind, anything's possible. So the first part of this process is dream. This is quite a fun part. This is where you just let your mind go and you think, how do I want my life to be? And this is some good stuff where, keep it on purpose. So what's really important to you? I think there's some good areas to think about. So you think about yourself. What is it you want for yourself? What do you want for your family? What do you want for your community? And what do you want in your career? Those are sort of 4 big areas in your life. But I think that, letting yourself go on this one. And we're going to take 5 minutes. For people watching, we'll stop the video and you can pause it and then restart it. But we're going to take 5 minutes. But before we do that, I just want to show you a quick video from The Pursuit of Happiness. So, and if you could cue the video, and Noah, could you hit the lights, please?
Alright. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. Alright? You got a dream, you gotta protect it. People can't do something themselves, they want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
Thanks, Noah. If you hit the lights again, and then if you bring it back. If people can't do something themselves, they tell you that you can't do it. Isn't that so true? Don't people, they've got their own limitations. Don't buy into that. If you want something, go get it, period. Now this is the opportunity just to dream and just write down whatever you want. Make sure you're focusing on what you want the next year as well as in the future, and don't limit yourself. Some of them, and don't judge them either as well. Some of them, don't judge that as selfish. So say, oh, a Lamborghini, oh, I shouldn't have it. If that's something you want, just write it down. This is not the point to filter. This is the point to pretend that everything you write down, you could have in your life, and if you don't write this stuff down, you'll never have it. So think about, your family. What do you want for your family? What do you want for yourself? Relationships, career, things, house. Where do you want to live? Holiday. How do you want to holiday travel? I'm going to start the watch, and we're going to do about 5 minutes. I'll play some music, and we'll go from there. And you can, people at home watching this on video, pause the video now, and then when you finish dreaming, put some music on, have some fun with it, anything you want. Just kick the video back on and we'll continue with the process. Bring it back. So, Welcome back, people watching on the video. That was 5 minutes. Now 5 minutes can go pretty quickly, and if you're pretending this is everything you're going to have, you really want in your life, you might run out of time. Feel free to come back and revisit this later. We're going to pack it in, and I think by having some time limits, you can actually achieve more than you think you can. Parkinson's law says task will expand or contract to the time that we give it. So 5 minutes, bang it all in. If you come back and go, oh, there's some other stuff, or later on you're like, oh, I see Mike's list and he's got something cool. This is one you can copy as well. There's not a test. So now you've got in front of you a list of things. So if everyone takes a look at their list, and if you look at that list and said, by magic I could wave a magic wand and it would all come true, how would you feel?
Amazing. Happy good.
Pretty good, isn't it? It's exciting. What you're looking at should be exciting to you. If it's not exciting, then you probably should come back and do it and say, did I filter too much, or did I just not think, get creative enough? So what you're looking at should be pretty exciting. And what we're going to do now is move to the second step, which is where we decide. Now this is where I think a lot of people fail at this point. Because while you may have a goal, and you have a lot of different things, it's people never make a decision. And the decision, I believe, if some is to say, is this going to be a goal, or am I going to raise this to a standard? If you look at the difference between a goal and a standard, if I had a goal to not beat my wife, what would you think of that? And you're like, oh, well, I've got a goal, and if I do, then I failed. It's a standard. I'm clear I'm not going to beat Claire. But there's a difference between a standard and a goal. A standard is something that is non-negotiable. And I think this is a powerful step when you're looking at your goals, to say, okay, what is a must? What is going to be non-negotiable? What is my new standard? So I want you to take a look at your list, and when you do this is where you're going to do some other steps, because you're going to set yourself up for a lot of pleasure to achieve these. But if you're not achieving your standards, there's going to be pain, because if you're not achieving your standard, then you're not living up to your potential. But this is a decision you make. Only you can decide what is non-negotiable. So I want you to look at your list and just put a circle around what are the non-negotiable ones for me. What are the ones that really, if I got 10 years down the track and looked back and I hadn't achieved these, I'd be pretty gutted. If I was honest with myself. Because sometimes we pretend to ourselves and go, oh, it doesn't really bother me, when actually inside it eats you up. If you're totally, brutally honest, what would be the ones here that you go, these are musts for me in my life? And then when you circle them, make a decision. Make a decision that this is non-negotiable, this is your new standard, and this is what you're going to achieve. This is a critical step to actual goal achievement, not just goal setting. Make a decision. And then with those ones, I'd encourage you, when you leave this today, is to take some action towards the attainment of that goal. So, if you've said this is a new standard, can you burn a bridge? Can you burn the boat? You're on an island now, can you burn the boat so that you can't get back? Something to do to say, I'm really committed here. So make a decision. What's non-negotiable? And then the next bit is to look at those non-negotiable ones and put a date by it. So this is really simple. Beside all those non-negotiable goals, just write 1, 3, 5 or 10. And that just means I want to achieve it in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years or 10 years. And with the 1 year goals later on, put a month beside it. So what month are you going to achieve it by this year? And so at this point, you've let yourself go. You've really thought about what it is you want in your life. You've also raised your standards and made some decisions about what is important and what's truly important to really leading a fulfilling life. And now you're putting in some deadlines. You're putting in some timelines on these. Now again, if you're watching on video, just pause if there's not enough time. And for anyone doing it here today, you can absolutely, I'd encourage you to come back. When you're going to have a whole lot of scribbles on your page, but come back have a look, and you can revisit this and refine it. I think that one thing I do believe is, there's that saying that if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. And I don't agree with that. I think if something's worth doing, it's worth doing badly the first time. Because you're never going to get it right the first time. You're never going to be perfect the first time. So this is a process, If it's worth doing, get in and do it. And if you make a mess of it, no dramas. Keep refining it. I think trying to make it right will just sort of paralyze people. And I think that's important with these goals as well. Like, something you set a new standard, you're going to take some action towards it. You're probably not going to get it right the first time. So if it's worth doing badly. It's worth giving it your best and then making progress towards that. So does everyone put 1, 3, 5, 10 or 10 beside those non-negotiable goals? Yeah. So I think you should give yourself a pat on the back at this point, because right now you are streets ahead of the average person. The average person doesn't have goals. So the average person is going where their focus in the moment takes them, or where the distraction in the moment takes them. So firstly, you've got goals. You've dreamt a bit. You've said, what is important to me in my life. The second thing is, and this is the step that even people who have goals they don't make a decision to say, this is my new standard. And when you truly embrace this, and sometimes it will take some time. I heard this idea a while ago, and I didn't get it until the last few years. But when you embrace this is my standard. Man, you'll move mountains. You'll do whatever it takes. And now you've put a timeline around it. So you're already ahead of 99.9% of the population. But even those people who get to 99.9% miss this next step, which is the important bit. When you're going towards a goal, do you think it's just going to the road is going to be paved with gold, and there'll be people, if it's hot, they'll be fanning you, or giving you a jacket if the rain, Do you think it's going to be easy, generally speaking, if you've set yourself a new standard that really is stretching you in your life? It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. Or it may be easy, but if it's hard, you do it hard. If it's easy, you do it easy. The secret ingredient, which I believe is the fuel to actually achieving goals, is what I call the driving force. This is your reason why. This is why the goal is important to you. And again, this is what most people never actually think about, or if they do, they don't document it down. Why is this important to you? When I had the head injury that I had in 2002, at the time the doctor said, you probably won't get back to medical school, you're unlikely to function again, and you'll certainly never ski again. And to me it was like, well, all the important things in my life have just been, they've said that I'm not going to achieve them again. But that to me wasn't going to be appropriate. That to me wasn't acceptable. And that was a really defining point in my life. I think in our lives we have good days and bad days, and we don't necessarily know which is which at the time. And to me that's, parents getting a call at 2:30 in the morning saying get to Dunedin and don't know if your son's going to wake up, could have been seen as a bad day. It was one of the best days of my life, one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it made me make a decision to raise my standards in my life. How I was living before wasn't going to serve me anymore, so I made a decision to raise my standards. And I set a goal about recovering, and I set a goal to become New Zealand Extreme Ski Champion when the doctors were saying you'll never even function again. And so to me that was the driving force, the why. Why is it important for me to get back to feeling healthy, to be able to do the things I love, to actually be able to experience life at a level that I want? That was so important to me. And so that's what drove me over the next 6 months. I had, first, second, third, fifth, 10th, 1000th hurdle. Every single day it was just like coming at me. But because I had a driving force, because I had a why, I didn't give up. And that's what you need. You need that driving force that means no matter what life throws at you, you're not going to give up. Because if you've got that, anything's possible. If you were, who here's got kids? Hands up. Okay. Now if you were walking along the road and someone said to you, okay, look at that house over there, and it had a big razor wire fence and then had a moat with sharks with the laser beams, and all that sort of, and then the house is on fire, and someone said $20 in there. What would you do to go and get the $20? Nothing, you wouldn't. But if someone said your daughter's in there, what would you do? Whatever it takes. The why is so important. That's the key. So for each of those non-negotiables, but what we're going to do in this exercise is just do it for one of them. And then I would encourage you to come back and do this for the other ones, because if you really want to set them as your standard, you need this why. You need the driving force that means that you're not going to quit, that no matter what life throws at you, you just say bring it on. So by all those non-negotiables, we'll just do one of them, pick one that's really important. I want you to write why it's non-negotiable. Why is this your new standard? And I think that it's important to look at it from a perspective of what will it mean to achieve, what will it mean for you to achieve it? What's it going to mean for your family, for the people you care about, for your community? Why is this so important to them? And equally, it's important to look at, well, what will not achieving it cost you? And what will it cost the people who you care about? Because, we do things to either gain pleasure or to avoid pain. And the fact of the matter is, most humans will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So stack it up. Stack up the pleasure. Stack up what it's going to mean if you achieve it. And also, don't hold back on, what it's going to mean if you don't. Because I think that's where, being honest with ourselves can be a real driver. I hate losing as much as I like winning. And so that means that if you've got a standard and you have a loss or a setback or whatever along the way, not being happy about it is a drive to make you want to get there. If you just go, oh, yeah, it's okay, that's no worries. You're probably lying to yourself if it's something that's really important to you. So just take some time there. If you're watching on the video, use this time as well. Why is it important? What's it going to mean for you to achieve it? And what's it going to mean if you don't? And then it absolutely encourage you to come back and do this for the rest of them, because this is a process. Every year I'd spend over a day doing this to get my year set up. We're going to be doing this in a short period of time today just to get the ball rolling. But I think it's important. Has anyone finished one that they'd like to share? No one. Maybe no one's finished. So if you start finishing up that one, and if you haven't finished, you can come back to it later. I absolutely encourage you to do that. Anyone got one they want to share at the moment? No? Rochelle, fantastic.
Right, so we have a property that's 8.5 hectares,
yep.
And we've received a letter from the council saying that we've got a few too many rabbits.
Yep.
Ours is by no means as bad as some of the other people in the
yep.
area, but we've basically had to come up with a 3-year plan that's how we're going to control them,
mm-hmm.
what they're going to do. If we don't, we've come up with the plan already, but if we don't stick to it, if we don't do what they want, then they can actually come in and poison and stuff like that, which is something that we don't want, because we, we use our property to produce food for ourselves.
Sure.
We want to stay away from that. So I mean, as far as an impact that it could have on us, it could totally change what we want in our whole life.
So what's the non-negotiable standard then?
Well, the fact that we have to stick to this plan that we've come up with.
So it's
Yeah. So I mean, it's a really in-detail plan. It's 5 pages long sort of thing. It goes through what we're going to do every year.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive because rabbit proofing isn't a cheap thing to do.
So what's it going to be if you do achieve it?
If we do achieve it, we're going to have no rabbits on our entire property, which is just outstanding for where we are, because there's currently a problem with it.
And a healthy environment, you produce
totally. We can still raise our
produce.
sheep, we can still have our eggs, and know that nothing is getting in any way poisoned by anything bad or.
So it's pretty much living the lifestyle you dream of on your land. What about if you don't achieve it? What's it going to mean?
It could just destroy the whole way that we want to live our lives. We could be forced to put poison on our property, which is something we don't want to do. It could mean that we can't have chickens, we can't have animals that get around, because the horses in particular, because even if you put it in a station or something, they can still get into that because they're quite strong.
Yeah.
So
it could kill your horses that you care about.
Totally.
I mean, the thing about the what's the negative side, what's it could cost you is don't hold back. Like what really could it cost you?
Totally.
And I mean,
it could kill Joey the dog.
Could
right?
kill Joey your dog. I mean, and ultimately
every day
it could take away your happiness and your. I mean, don't hold back on the stuff. This is what's important. It's a great share. Thanks, Rochelle. And it's important. You know, what is it going to mean? But what is it going to cost me if I don't? Because that's going to drive you. That'll get you out of bed. So I'd encourage you to come back and do this for those other ones that are important. If you actually want, if you're serious about achieving them, come back and do this. If you're not, don't worry about it. See what life throws at you. And the fifth one is do. I mean, all the stuff so far will start to move things in the direction just by focusing on it. Can you just push that just so that's in there? There we go. Oops. Can you get that going again, Mike? I'll just keep talking. Just by focusing on it, by focusing on it, you will get, you'll start moving things in the direction you want to go on. You'll start to, notice things. You'll start to be aware of opportunities that are going to start sort of, presenting themselves. But and so you open the door. But if you don't then step through that door and take some action, then you're not going to move towards what you want. So the next step is do. I mean, don't worry about it. It's turned blue for some reason. The goal is just to start. So when we talk about doing it, taking action, the door is open ajar. You've got to step through it. The universe is going to give you opportunities to move towards your goals, but it's not going to give you unlimited ones. And I believe that if a door is open and you don't step through it and take that opportunity, the door closes, it may or may not open again. Or it's going to become harder and harder because it depends on whatever you believe in. But if you've got opportunities being thrown at you that you just keep don't taking, and you go out and say, I want this, and then it's like, it's in front of you, you don't take it, the universe is going to stop giving it to you. Because it's like, well, we'll give it to someone who actually cares. So you need to take action. So determining how. So I think the key is, what are the action steps you need to take to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be? And there's a cool little way to break this down. Because sometimes people be like, oh, where do I start? It's overwhelming. And again, this is one where I think if it's worth doing badly. Just start. That's the key. The rule of sevens is a really cool one, which is where you go, okay, here's my goal. And you go, okay, I've got no idea. My goal might be, build my dream home in the country. Where the heck do I start with that? There's so many things. The rule of seven says, okay, what are the seven main things you need to achieve that one goal? And those might be projects. But underneath each of those projects, what are the 7 action items that you need to take to achieve those things? So what you've done then is you've broken down, you've chunked down a big goal to 49. I mean, the number 7 is just, it doesn't have to be 7, but you've chunked down a big thing to 49 action steps that you can take. And so 49 action steps are really easy to do. It's just like get them ticked off. You've got your driving force, you know why you're doing it, so you're not going to give up. And you're going to move towards that big goal. So however you do it, there are so many different ways you can do it. But again, if it's worth doing badly. Just jump in sometimes. If sometimes, people won't start exercising because like, what do I need to join a gym, I need to get a trainer, got to get all that. It's just like, all right, just start running. You don't need the perfect plan. You just got to start moving. Just start. If it's worth doing, it's just worth doing badly. Whatever it is that you just first take. So chunk it down to some action steps. Determine who you need, who's going to help you in this. Because I think that you can really leverage other people, to help move you towards what you want. I think Zig Ziglar is like, if you give enough people what they want, you're going to get what you want. So it's what can you contribute to others, and what can they contribute to you. People, organisations. So who's going to help you? Who do you need to help you? And then, put it in your diary, schedule it and make it real. So this is where the rubber meets the road. And this is the one that I'd say, I'd really encourage you. Tony Robbins says it really well. He says, never leave the side of setting a goal without first taking some action towards the attainment of that goal. Never leave the side of setting a goal without first taking some action towards the attainment of that goal. Now that means today, with these things, if you do one of, you've done one today, but I encourage you to go away and expand this and finish it for the rest of them. Take some action today. Is it that you join the gym? Is it that you make a phone call to someone that you've been putting off? What is it that you're going to take action on to start moving towards it? Because I think taking action and moving towards it again supports those commands to the subconscious mind to say that I'm serious about it. I'm not just talking about it. I'm going to start moving towards it. Little victories will move you towards those goals. You don't need to achieve the big one right now. When I had that head injury, a little victory was being able to go walk for 100 meters without being tired. But it's a little thing. But stack yourself up to win. Take some action, tick some things off, and create yourself some little victories. So those are the 5 steps. So there's dream, there's decide, there's put your driving force. Sorry, dream, decide, date is the next thing. Driving force, why it's important, and then do. Take some action towards it. At this point, does anyone have any questions about the process? And I think, we've gone over, this has been sort of 45 minutes, and you can see this process takes some time, and you're going to need to go away, if you want to do this and raise the standards in your life, you're going to need to put some time into making the plan for the year. Does anyone have any questions at this point? No. Okay, great. So let's move along. Anna, would you be able to move it along, please? My computer's not working. Thank you. So we're sort of getting into wrapping it up, but I think this is a great quote by a guy, Dick Sutphin, which says, most people diffuse their psychic energy, attention, in hundreds of random ways. Those who flow focus their psychic energy intentionally upon the task at hand. It really boils down to knowing your goal, concentrating on it, remaining determined, and having the self-discipline to complete what you're doing. And I think what we've talked about today is exactly this, and it goes a step beyond that, because it helps give you that psychic energy to move you towards it. You don't focus on too many things. I would encourage you not to have 100 different standards that you've put in place for this year. Focus on what are the key important things. I've 4 for myself, and I write them down every morning. And so I'm focused on them. It's just total focus. And if you can move along, please. Because ultimately, what this is about is... There we go.
Come on.
Alright. So, this is as I said, how I do it. It's about setting yourself up to win. Next one, please. Just click it, the big thing come up there. What I encourage you to see it, write it and visualize it every morning, and visualize it as if it's already done. So feel it, feel it, and be grateful for it. Every morning, what I do is I focus on what I want to achieve in my life, and I give thanks for it as if it's already happened for me, and that just seems to help move me in that direction. You can also you can speak affirmations. If getting fit something you want to do, you might go for a run and start saying, I'm a lean, mean performance machine, or whatever it is you want to do. But it's just what it is, this is just setting yourself up so that you turn that subconscious mind that might be going this way, you turn it into the direction you want it to go in. And then you keep reinforcing it. This is like fitness. You can't go to the gym once and be fit. Wealth. You can't just sort of make some money and then you're rich forever. This is something you have to keep building on. You're brushing your teeth, you do it twice a day. You don't even think about it. This is what it needs to become. If you want to move yourself in direction and have an outstanding, exceptional life where you achieve beyond what other people will achieve, and you live an exceptional life on your standards, it's like brushing your teeth. This is something you want to do every day. So you're revisiting those goals, you're refocusing, you're visualizing it, you're seeing it as done, and you may even go to the point where you're out there, saying it, getting excited about it, letting yourself go. This is setting yourself up to win. So in essence, this is thinking your best thoughts, feeling your best feelings, and taking your best actions. And that's all it is. It's about helping you to get yourself moving in the direction you want to be in, be going in and living your best life. I mean, I think that, you know, we all have 24 hours in every day, and you know, we all have the same amount of time here, and some people will have a much more exceptional experience than others. So this is, you know, but no one else can judge what exceptional means but you. So this is about helping you to get the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions to move you towards what it is that's, you know, that's truly important to you. And there's a final quote that I want to leave you with, by Lance Armstrong, who obviously has had some challenges, but I think this quote is absolutely true. Pain is temporary. It may last a minute or an hour or a day or a year, but eventually it will subside and something else will take its place if I quit, however it lasts forever. And I think this is so, so true. When it comes to creating an exceptional life, sometimes it's going to be hard, and if it's hard, you do it hard. If it's easy, you do it easy. But if you quit on something that's important to you, that's forever. Regret is forever. So I think that I think the key with this stuff is set yourself up to win, and don't expect it to always be easy. Expect there to be challenges, but make sure you've got that driving force, that fuel, so that if the challenges come, it's just like, bring it on, let's go. Is that all you got? Because that way you can really, you know, you can step off success on success and success and create a truly exceptional life. So thank you. As I said, people here and people watching, you're here because you've got a commitment to mastery, to taking your life to the next level. And this is the first step, is to opening your mind up to new ideas. Some of them you'll have heard before, some of them might be new. And then the next step is what you actually go away and do with it. There'll be some people here who will take this, what they've learned today, and they'll go away and they will finish the exercise. You know, they'll write down all their non-negotiables. They'll put timelines around it. They will put their driving force around it, and they'll put a plan around it, how they're going to achieve it, and then they'll take action towards it immediately, and they are the people who are going to achieve exceptional things. It's not going to be everyone, watching. The choice is yours as to whether you want to be one of those people who, you know, can learn something good and then let it go, or learn something and take it, make it your own, and take it on and achieve something truly exceptional. So I hope that's my hope for you. That's why I share this today, and I just thank you for spending your time today, and encourage you to take that next step and to achieve some truly exceptional things this year. Thank you very much.
Thanks,